Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video. If you are an OG of the channel, you may remember my signature Mew Vigoroth Mandibuzz line that I used for several seasons, sometimes mixing up the moveset on Mew and running that team to a lot of success because of its flexibility. Mew, Vigoroth, two very flexible Pokemon. Eventually, the team wasn't quite as good because you started to run into Sableye back then. Vigoroth wasn't very good against Sableye. Trevenant became more popular. Things as well like Obstagoon were a bit of a problem. So we went away from it for a while. Recently, I decided to retry it out. Mew, Vigoroth, Mandibuzz was doing okay for a few sets, and I realized I was really weak to Guzzlord. Home Slice Henry beat me with his Guzzlord in the back, just kind of swept my team. So we replaced Mandibuzz with Skarmory, and voila, the signature team has reappeared with a new back Pokemon. We're going to see how it performs here. Mew, Vigoroth, Skarmory, and we are running not your standard Surf Wild Charge or Grass Knot, Flame Charge. We're running Psyshock on Mew. Rise, why are you running Psyshock on Mew? You know, two reasons. Reason number one, I think it has a lot of nice neutral play in the current meta. It's also really good against Poliwrath to have a threatening move that's relatively cheap, where you also are not debuffing yourself. So I think Psyshock is good there. It's good against certain grass types to hit for neutral, Mud Boys to hit for neutral, Clodsire super effective. And then the second reason is for fun, to experiment, low TMs. I don't know, just cuz. Why not run Psyshock? So I think Wild Charge is usually one of the most helpful moves for Mew, and we're running it with Psyshock as well. Vigoroth here against Trevenant. Gonna pull a shield advantage. I'm going to throw my Psyshock I have stored on the Mew to get rid of this Trevenant. We've seen Azu already. What's the back Pokemon? It is a Superior, and we are up a shield. So as long as our Skarmory can get rid of this Azu without taking too much of a beating, we should be chilling. Debating whether I want to shield here. I shield just an Ice Beam, unfortunately, so that's unfortunate that we didn't shield a Hydro Pump. Could have taken an Ice Beam. But I figure even an Ice Beam from Azu is going to do more than anything that the Superior can throw at me. So I'm just going to get rid of this Azu as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And poor little Superior, not going to be able to do much there. GG's. That was Lucio, teammate of mine. Really cool dude. And it is on to the next one. Mew has always been one of my favorite Pokemons in Pokemon Go PvP. Also, check out the Jigglypuff with the bow. How adorable is that new Jigglypuff? Next opponent, Yoshi. And it's a Go-Go. And I was like, oh crap, I don't even know what this thing has. So we're going to go for Psyshock here at some point. He throws after 5 Vine Whips, so I'm thinking it must be like a Leaf Blade because of how quickly he got to that move. Had to be like a Leaf Blade or a Body Slam. I don't even know off the top of my head what the second move Go-Go runs is. I'm sure some of you guys know in the comments. Another move coming through from the Go-Go. We're going to put up a Protect Shield. Mew going to try and dish out some damage. We bank a move and we swap in Vigoroth. Now, one reason this team, I found some success with it in the first couple sets I tried it out, is because people are oftentimes concerned about what charge moves Mew may be running. They tend to give up switch advantage more frequently. There were certain games where I would lead against maybe like, let's say a grass type that I probably wouldn't be able to win switch against if they played out the full matchup. Or like a Whiscash, even like a Mudboy. They were afraid of the Grass Knot, so they'd actually swap out and give me switch advantage, and that would allow me to line things up where I want them. And having Vigoroth aligned with the Lickitung here is going to really set us up well in the back. We're going to throw this Parting Body Slam just for a little bit of chip damage. Vigoroth doing his thing. And Skarmory comes in. Really good matchup here for Skarm. You don't really have any charge move pressure against the Carbink, but these Steel Wings are double super effective against that Rock Fairy dual typing. So really solid stuff. I decided to let it go because I know I can live. Go-Go comes in. Still has both shields behind him. I probably could have... I think this was more of a troll throwing the Brave Bird because I assumed my opponent would kind of just concede, but they didn't. So I combo play, throw my Psyshock here. Could have just committed to fast moves as well, I think, but we play it out. And because he throws a charge move, I just shield, because that Shadow Claw that went through during the charge move should be enough to knock out the Go-Goat. And that is going to get the knockout. Go-Goat. Funny Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon are Pokemon that are literally just like animals. I think they're really fun. That's why I love Corphish so much. He's literally just like a crawfish. And Go-Goat is a goat. Seal is a seal. I think those Pokemon are like the funniest. Let me know what your favorite Pokemon is. That's the question of the day. Favorite Pokemon in the comments. Ace is the next opponent. I've got a friend from back home named Ace. This is a different Ace. This is tough, and you're going to see me misplay this game. So whenever you try out a new team, right, it's also a feeling out process. So my first thought was maybe I stay in. Maybe I can build up a bunch of energy and grab a shield. But then I decided, like, it's kind of too risky. Like, if he doesn't shield, I feel like I'm just wasting my Psyshock energy. So then I swap, and I do lure out a Buzzwole. But this is where we miss not having Surf on our Mew, which would be much better against the Galarian Stunfisk, of course. Going for another Body Slam here. Buzzwole is actually going to shield and go for the full counter down against my Vigoroth, coming out with tons of energy. The unfortunate part is Buzzwole does win CMP against Mew, but I make sure to throw instantly to either knock him out before he gets to another move or to threaten that final shield. We're going to go for the Psyshock here. Psyshock connects and knocks out the Buzzwole. And I'm going to let this go. I'm hoping if it's an Earthquake that I live and can keep the energy, but I actually don't survive the Earthquake. So probably a misplay by me. Also could have gone for the catch on the Earthquake. Maybe that would have given us some play. But now we're just locked in a pretty tough matchup here against the G-Fisk. When this is like even energy, Skarmory can hold its own, but we're just in a situation, right, where not only do we have to take out this G-Fisk, but we actually have to take out a back Pokemon as well. Gonna go for the Brave Bird, hoping maybe I can get a farm down before he gets to another Rock Slide, but nope, he's already at the Rock Slide. And this is probably gonna seal the deal for him. What's in the back? It's a Whiscash. So even if we had maybe caught the Earthquake on Skarmory, it would have given us some more play, but I think he probably still would have had the game anyway. Whiscash pretty good against our team in general. Next battle starting. I recognize that trainer's name. Basti. Okay, so not great by any means because we'd much prefer to have Vigoroth here, and Mew just kind of gets out bulked. But what I decided to do is just, I'm going to completely stay in. I'm going to try and maybe come out of here with a shield advantage if possible. We already got one shield. And actually at this point, I probably am just going to take the shield advantage. I'm not going to shield if he throws a move. And if we can force him to give up Switch, maybe that'll give us some play. Wild Charge coming through. Going to chip this Bastiodon. Gonna come in with Vig. Now, I'm expecting him to swap. And it's into a Wigglytuff. So, in my mind, I'm like, obviously, the logic, like, seems you've got a Skarmory. You want to swap in your Skarmory against the Wigglytuff. But in my head, I'm thinking it's probably Shadow Victory Bell in the back. And if I swap in Skarm, it's going to be tough to get rid of that Bastiodon. So I completely stay in with Vig. I'm able to knock out the Wiggly. I'm keeping my eye on that top right corner. If I see that Grass Poison typing, is that going to enter the playing field? It is. We swap Skarm. He's still switch locked, and he actually top left. So maybe we still would have had play if we had countered the Wiggly with the Skarm. I think that's a play like maybe a lot of people would make. But it ended up paying off that we actually stayed in with Vigoroth against the Wigglytuff there. So a lot of you watching, probably you OP battlers saying, yeah, Rise, obvious read. But I think a lot of people might have saw the Wiggly and just swapped in their Skarm right away. So just a little bit of a team read there. Mew into Charjabug. This is tough lead. It has, we're kind of ABA weak to it because Mew is going to take super effective from X-Scissor. Skarmory, of course, does not want to see the Charjabug. But we do have this neutral hitting Psyshock, which is kind of nice for us. Let's see what we decide to do. Psyshock comes through, does some nice chip damage to the Charjabug. The opponent seems to have waited a turn and saw our swap in. They're going to expend some energy here on Vig. In comes opposing Skarmory. And now with Rock Slide, this is not that bad of a matchup for Vigoroth by any means. Vigoroth, I think, wins certain shield scenarios in this matchup. Rock Slide coming through. Going to chip away. We're going for another Rock Slide here. Another Rock Slide. Grabs a shield. And just going to eye if I can get to a Rock Slide here. Don't think so, so going to have to settle for the Body Slam. Body Slam, not going to threaten a shield, but it will chip this Skarmory a little bit. And I'm going to come in right away with my own Skarm. I do get denied, unfortunately. That's tough, but we are going to be able to absorb this damage on our own Skarm rather than having to expend a shield on Mew. Everything resisted here. Brave Bird lands. In comes the Charge-a-Bug. Gonna throw the Psyshock immediately to either force him to use his last shield or to let it go. He lets it go. What's going to be in the back? Let's see. He's waiting out his full switch timer. It is an Azumarill. And, you know, I think he might have actually, it's hard to say. Because if he shields the Charge-a-Bug, he gets my final shield. But then he also has to eat a Wild Charge on Azu for sure. But Mew, with this head start and energy, going to land the Wild Charge. The unfortunate part is he's going to get the full farm down. Does he have Hydro Pump? We're going to respect it. This Azu's got a ton of energy. It's a play rough, which tells me he definitely has Hydro, and we're getting it off the Sky Attack right there as we get the Azumarill to go down. The opposing Skarm is low. That's a GG. Apologies for the flickering there. Once again, I have been dealing with that a little bit with my capture card. It's tough. The struggles of a content creator. I paid a decent amount investing in a new capture card, and unfortunately it's very touchy. So if I'm ever moving the phone or like maybe tapping more aggressively than normal in like a dire situation, that tends to happen. It's very touchy. Even if I'm just like moving it like this, it tends to flicker like that. So I have to be like very still with it. So yeah, I might look into new options for the game capture, but for now, it's what we got. And other than the black flickering, it's pretty good quality. Other than so, positive lead into Deoxys here as we go into the second set. Gonna go for our Wild Charge here against the Mandibuzz, and then gonna dip out into Vigoroth. Now, I want to maintain alignment with my Mew against the Deoxys if possible, so I'm gonna actually shield the first move here, thinking he's less likely to bait the first move. He's gonna let another Dark Pulse go. I'm going to overfarm with my Vigoroth. Gonna throw a Rock Slide here at the Mandibuzz. Super effective damage. Body Slam is the more efficient move, but because Rock Slide hits for neutral, or super effective rather, in this scenario, it's the more efficient move. He's gonna go for another Dark Pulse. I'm actually gonna pull up another shield. He swaps directly into DD, playing very aggressively. So I'm gonna throw a Body Slam pretty much just to extend my switch timer to let me get into Mew here. And the reason I didn't Wild Charge first, right, is because Wild Charge would not be enough to knock out from this range quite yet. So we're going to wait for him to throw Thunderbolt. Going to build up extra energy. Now I've got double Wild Charge. So if that Mandibuzz decides to come in against our Mew, it's going to have to take a Wild Charge to the face. What's going to come in? Opponent waiting out their switch timer. It is a Carbink. I decided to Wild Charge instantly just to give the Carbink a little bit less farm. And I feel like we should be in a decent spot here because Steel Wings are going to chunk this Carbink. And Vigoroth doesn't have like a ton of play at this stage in the game, but we know that the Mandibuzz is quite low. So going to overfarm here. Honestly, probably should have just Brave Birded there. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I'm Sky Attacking. Like, what's really the point of Sky Attacking there? And then I catch. Seems like kind of extra. Seems kind of extra, Rise. Why are we catching? I guess I didn't want to debuff myself or something. I don't know. But like if I Brave Birded, I could have just cleared it with Vig, and then I probably was chilling. So kind of an unnecessary endgame by me. Made it closer than it needed to be, but we get the win anyway. Because I think the Carbink was just about at the Rock Slide there at the end. Luffy, terrific battler. Always on the leaderboard. Mew versus Whiscash. If you guys decide to run this team, by the way, this is like a very flexible team. I feel like you're not going to hard counter a lot of teams, but you will have some more neutral play. We get hit by the Scald. I overfarm to kind of bait a potential Grass Knot here that he might have to shield. It's 7 Shadow Claws, hypothetically, to a Grass Knot if I was running Grass Knot. And, you know, I probably should shield the first one, to be honest, because if I take the Scald, then I have to shield a Mud Bomb. So you'd rather shield the Scald. He swaps in Lickitung. Like we talked about, people like giving up Switch against Mew. And after I revealed Psyshock, who knows what he was thinking. Maybe he was thinking like, oh, that's weird. Maybe he's running Psyshock Grass Knot, like, because Psyshock's a pretty obscure move. Or maybe maybe he's double weak to counter here and felt like he has to lure out a counter user. Body Slam, chunking away at our Vig. Gonna overfarm as much as I can before throwing Body Slam here. Don't want to allow him to get to another Body Slam. We knock out his Lickitung. Gonna get off another Body Slam here against Whiscash. Whiscash eats it. And perfect counting by our opponent. After all those counters we did, knows exactly when to throw. Takes us out with the Mud Bomb. I've got a ton of energy on Mew. I don't know why I Wild Charge here, to be honest. I think it was like in case of a catch, I guess. In case of a catch. And there's a Talonflame in back. And I'm like, oh no, this is kind of scary. But I get off the Wild Charge. And this is going to come down to whether Brave Bird knocks out the Talonflame or not. Talonflame just did 3, so it's 1 away from the next move, meaning 5 turns. I can do 2 Steel Wings, fire Brave Bird, and it just comes down to whether the Brave Bird one-shots the Talonflame from here. Big Brave Bird coming through, knocks out the Talonflame, and Skarmory up a shield. Beats Talon. So I guess Skarmory just straight up wins the 1-0 against Talonflame, which makes sense. Brave Bird is such a hard-hitting move. So a nice little game there. The opponent locking in their Lickitung against Vig definitely was a critical part of the win for us. Mew into Lantern without Grass Knot. This is not a great matchup for Mew. So I did play this matchup several times in the lead against Lantern, and I found out probably the ideal way to play is just to eat the first move no matter what and then double Wild Charge. Instead, you're going to see me Psyshock and then Wild Charge, and I think it actually allows the opponent to hang on with a little bit of health. Oh no, actually double Psyshock. Interesting. Okay, so I played this one differently. Maybe this is the first Lantern lead I played against. He shields. I decide that I kind of want to get rid of this Lantern if possible, so Skarmory's completely free. I swap Skarm in against the Trev. Don't love this play, but at the same time, I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I go for the Sky Attack here. He settles for Seed Bomb, which I know is not going to threaten me. So I'm willing to take this, and then I don't think I'm going to get to 2 moves, so I'm just going to Brave Bird here to lower my defense. This way, if Lantern comes back in, it's going to get only 1 spark for sure. Venusaur comes in, though. Venusaur comes in. It's double grass, and he got a little bit greedy. This allows us to get off a Sky Attack and get a shield. We have energy on our Mew. He's already seen Psyshock, so we're going to be patient here. He was actually a little bit early on the catch, but he might not know the Psyshock, the Mew Psyshock counts offhand, which I don't blame him for. And now we're in a pretty good spot. We're just going to double up here with our Vigoroth. Venusaur did bank a Frenzy Plant and should win CMP against our Vig, but you're going to see me shield it because we have a Psyshock banked, so as long as we force Venusaur to expend energy, we should be chilling here. This Body Slam puts it well within Psyshock range, and he would have to throw his Frenzy. Actually, I think we would outpace the Body Slam anyway, because I think he was completely dry there, so I think we would outpace the second Body Slam anyway. So multiple avenues there to get the win and a nice game. Oh, went a little bit too far there. Who we got next? Who we got next? See the ELO 2884. See if this team can get us into the 2900s. Twin Roba. Mew into Gligar. Okay. Gligar, like, pretty neutral here, since they're typically not going to be running Night Slash. Not horrible for Mew. But the concern here is the Gligar lead if they have, like, some sort of hard Skarmory check in the back. It seems very possible. Debating whether I want a shield or not here. I do put up a shield, and it is a dig, so a nice call. Gonna go for another Psyshock here. Is the opponent going to stay in? Are they gonna let it go through? They're just gonna let it go down. I hard swap into Vig, lure out Poliwrath. You might be thinking, Rise, why not just like stay in after you one switch? Well, Poliwrath is really tough for this team's back line, so I think luring it out here was the best thing to do. We're going to get off another Body Slam. Is this going to grab the second shield? It is. It's going to grab the second shield. I'm going to come in Mew, and I was pretty confident at this point I could shield and get off my Psyshock before he got to 2 moves. So that was my play. That was my game plan. We get off the Psyshock, and we know that there is a Sand Slash awaiting us, but because of Skarmory's Steel typing, remember, does not do too bad against Alolan Sand Slash. The Powder Snows, the Ice Punch is going to hit for just neutral damage, and the Steel Wings also chunking for neutral damage. So Skarmory does pretty well here. I remember I told someone like I was running a team, like a double flyer team with like Gligar, Skarmory or something maybe, and they were like, "Oh, do you just like auto lose to A Slash?" And they're like, no. I'm like, "No, Skarmory does pretty well against A Slash." And there you see it, Brave Bird to the face, knocks out the Steel type. And there you have it. There's the win. This puts us... Was that a 5-0? I think that was a 5-0 set. We get our little Squovit friend. Almost as cute as his big brother Greedent. And let's see what this puts us at. 2951, inching closer to Legend. We have one bonus battle for you in the video here. Let's see who we got last battle of the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Di Monterezzo. Another Azumarill. And this is where Wild Charge is really nice for Mew. He goes immediately into Sableye. I swap pretty quickly into Vigoroth, understanding that I can win this matchup at my own discretion, right? I think if I let the both foul plays go, he could probably shield farm down. But I'm going to get some sort of advantage out of this matchup. I don't fall for the CMP. I shield here. Honestly, in hindsight, I bet I can get to double body slam even if I let that go through. So I don't love the shield decision by me. I think I could have got to double body slam even if I took the foul play there. So now he comes in with Azu. I catch the Ice Beam on my Mew. I feel like it could be double Ghost, in which case our Vigoroth could be useful. Azu double Ghost has been a popular line since before time. It's been a popular line for a long time, so it could be like a Trevenant in back. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I bait the Psyshock, and he calls the bait. I kind of wanted to bait because if I Wild Charge, he could potentially shield and get a full farm down. Now I'm going to go for the Wild Charge. Might as well either get the knockout or guarantee a shield. Wild Charge coming through, knocks out the Azu, and it is a Talonflame in the back. But I am going to get a parting Wild Charge here, which will draw the shield, and I can combo into my Vigoroth. I've got double Rock Slide, and he's still one Incinerate away from a move, and he calls the bait, and Vigoroth knocks out the Talonflame with the double super effective Rock Slide. That was his only play as well, was to make the call, right? You might be wondering, why didn't he shield? Well, I think his only win con is calling a Body Slam bait, because if I have double Rock Slide and he was on point with his counts, I just win anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Fun team with Mew. Mew can be a little bit difficult to play, but its flexibility, its sort of surprise factor with your opponent not knowing what charge moves it's running can be really effective and fun to play with. It's definitely always been one of my favorite Pokemon to use in the Open Great League since the early days with Flame Charge, Wild Charge, then Wild Charge Surf, and now running Psyshock Wild Charge. Don't know if that's necessarily the best moveset, but it's what I've been running, and I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you are new, comment down below. All comments are appreciated. And that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.